Hey everybody, I'm Jack Jinseki, and joining me today is Naningen.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing okay. So, I was just talking a moment before the stream. Naningen is related to Lampy. Is it okay if I say that?
Uh, Two things.
Yeah,
First of all, just gonna get this out of the way before it happens the whole interview. It is Naningen.
Naningen.
Yeah, don't worry. It
I'm
gets mispronounced much more often than I would think, considering I just mashed two
well.
Japanese words together.
Yes. That's because what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to ask you in advance how you pronounce your name. And the thing is that the thing that I'm learning is that people don't really say their name on stream very much.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so it's difficult to tell exactly what pronunciation it is, even if
Yeah,
you do the research.
even if you do the research, most of my friends just call me Nani. Like,
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna call you Nani for the rest of the Nani. That's how I'll
yep,
address you
there
for
it
the
is.
rest of
There
the
it is.
stream.
You found the joke.
Yep. Uh, so Nani, what kind of content do you like to make?
Uh, my content is sporadic, and it is pretty much. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, go for it.
I do whatever the fuck I want.
There you go. I like that answer. So
But
what?
to finish the second part of
Yeah.
that before it derails, technically speaking, we are not actually brothers. Uh,
Oh, okay. I see.
so we are like very far apart. Like we have never met in real person, but like, I I have known Lampy since like I think the start of COVID.
Ah.
And like they were one of my first online friends, and I have not looked back since.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. It he seems to have people that are he's helped out or is really close with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I am one of those lucky few.
So what made you want to be a VTuber?
um so two reasons. One, I've always wanted to create content. I've always wanted to make people smile. That's kind of like my whole reason for even being on the internet as a creator,
Yeah.
is just I want to be that little bright place for people. I
Yeah.
don't The world is full of sadness, and I think that's messed up. But my second reason is I can't afford a camera, so this is kind of my only other option.
Well, there you go. You've found the loophole.
No camera, just use a weird website with Discord. Yeah.
So what was the process for creating your character?
So originally my character was actually completely different. Let me see if I have like a. I probably do, but my original character was just a Dragon Ball OC for the game Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2.
Mm-hmm.
I had created a character in there, and originally that was just my model because like I didn't have any other characters.
Yeah.
But at work one day, I just drew up this little mask design that you see here,
Mm-hmm.
and I liked the mask design so much that I kind of just kept it in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
And when I was thinking of finally branching out into like a new model, this mask came back into my thought, and I was like, I could work with this because I recalled I don't think I know a single VTuber with a mask, which is a little weird.
Hmm. I mean, in a way, a VTuber is something of a mask.
Yeah, and if it makes it any better, that's just part of the commentary.
There you go. It's comment. It's higher level. It's 4D chess.
I'm like a Rick and Morty fan. My brain is too big for the universe.
So, do you find that speaking naturally when you're on a stream, do you find that just kind of came to you naturally, or do you think that you have to practice it?
So, I think there's a little bit of both there. I think that in streams, you should obviously be acting a little different, but it shouldn't be different from yourself. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the best way I can describe it is a little thing I call content pill mode,
Yeah.
where you just you let your unfiltered self run wild. You're like, you have that thought, I'm gonna do that thought. You have that, you have that idea, I'm gonna say that idea. It's just whatever comes to your mind, you're talking, so that you're constantly having something going on to have people want to be engaged.
I think in what's that thing called when you do comedy like off the top of your head in the improv world? I think they refer to that as yes and.
Yeah.
So, what was the first anime you ever watched, and what drew you to it?
So, the first anime I ever watched was Konosuba, and the reason is really stupid. So, I was watching YouTube, and in one of the videos, you know the intro to Konosuba where they're like dancing in it?
Yes.
A gif of them dancing was on the video, and I was like, oh, those characters look sick, and I like that dance animation. Where are they from?
Would you believe that was probably my introduction to Konosuba as well?
That's awesome.
That intro is very infectious, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. So, you're doing a stream. It's your ideal stream. Who do you have on it?
Alright, so I have Lampy.
Yeah.
I have my girlfriend, Rhyme.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, who else is there? I have... Am I allowed to plug my friends?
Oh, go for it. Please do.
Cyber at TTV.
Yep.
And I don't know what we're playing. Because they all have very different game tastes.
That's gonna put a crimp in one of my later questions.
I have more friends, don't worry. Oh
yeah.
Wait, no, I know what we'd be doing. We'd be doing a game show.
Oh yeah. What would you be stumbling over my words? What would you be playing?
Man. I think with that group, I would be doing some sort of like Jeopardy style game show, I would think.
So would that be like you would go to a website with Jeopardy questions and just read off of that, or would you be coming up with the questions, or?
I would be coming up with the questions, but I would do some sort of mock site so that it looks fancy, you know?
Yeah. And would they be actual Jeopardy questions, or would they just be what?
They would be more personalized to like the group itself, and also a little bit of tomfoolery.
Yeah.
I have the habit of like, yes, you're my friends, but in my game show, you're also my victim. You are at my mercy.
Have you ever seen the TV show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I have not.
There's an episode of it where the group of people in the show, they have, since it's their friend group, they have a game that they invented with trivia questions about other people in the game. And because they're such petty people, all of the questions are like insults about the other people in the group.
I wouldn't go that far, but there would definitely be some just questions such as, is this the right answer?
Yeah. So, what do you look for in a video game?
I look for gameplay first. I look for gameplay, and I look for high quality animation. I think all of the aspects are like very important, but the first thing I look to is going to be gameplay and animation, because I want to feel cool when I'm playing it, or if I'm playing something more calming like Stardew Valley, I want it to feel homey. Like I want to feel like I'm in the environment.
Yes. I totally agree with that. Would you say that you're a professional gamer?
No. I realistically suck at video games. I have wanted to dip my foot into like professional gaming for so many different topics, but like I'm always constantly switching games, so I never really hone in on one and just play it.
You're not like the Tetris kid that plays
like the Tetris kid.
all the way. Did you know about that guy? He played. There were like progressions of where the game Tetris was logically supposed to end, and there's one point where things get so ridiculous that nobody had been able to beat it, and then this kid beats that, and it's a really fascinating story about basically what qualifies as the end of a theoretically unbeatable game. So if you ever get the chance, you should look it up.
I mean, theoretically, if it's theoretically unbeatable, that means it is still technically beatable, therefore it is theoretically endless.
Yeah, because there's a point in Tetris, because the original game, it's like a game cartridge. It has limited space, and there were little tiny things that the developers of that game had to do in order to make it function. And so at a certain point, it becomes unplayable anymore, and the developers were like, okay, well, that's the end of it. You can't beat this, so it's just the end. And then people beat that.
There's nothing left. You can't do it. But I did.
Yeah.
Huh?
So what games are you looking forward to?
There are two big ones that are coming out in October.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Sparking Zero
Mm-hmm.
and Sonic X Shadow Generations. One
Wow.
is a game series that I have never had the chance to play, but has had such high praises that I've been looking forward to it ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is one of my favorite childhood games of all time, and I never thought I would get to see the game remastered in such a way that it has been.
So you grew up playing Sonic then?
Yes, I did.
What are your goals for your channel?
Just reach as many people as possible. Like, realistically, I think in terms of, like, a lot of channels, there are a lot of people in it for the money. Which, obviously, yeah, money is nice. But I don't think I've ever cared if I got money or not. I always just wanted to entertain. And getting the money is going to happen as part of it, just naturally, but I don't think it's ever going to be my main goal.
I think that's a healthy attitude to have, because what I have heard from the biggest streamers is don't expect to make money. Go into it because you genuinely love it and then improve upon it. Don't expect to cut a major check. Don't expect to quit your day job. And just put your energy into doing the thing that you love. And the audience will come to that. Because there are all these people that they're trying to game the system, and they burn out on viewers very quickly. They can generate high viewership for a little while, and then everybody leaves for the next thing. They're not able to generate constant viewership because they're not really doing the strategies to maintain that viewer count.
Yeah, it's really sad to see, because, like, a lot of content creators, they will absolutely have a gigantic following, and it will die out so quickly because they were never in it for the right reason.
Yes.
But a lot of people who still invested into that idea are now just stuck going, well, what the heck?
Yeah.
Where did they go?
I think that there's a good spot where people, you don't have to be the biggest person, but you can still reach a lot of people and make people happy. And I'm hoping that I could be one of those people too.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite VTuber and why?
I think out of all of them, I would have to answer Nyanners. I don't really watch too many VTubers outside of my circle anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But when I did, like, Nyanners was one of the top ones. It is one of the only content creators in total that I have spent money on merch for.
Yeah, I always felt that it's kind of the next level to actually spend money on another content creator, because most of the time you just watch and your money is important to you. So if you spend money on someone, that's a big thing. That's a big deal. It's a level of engagement that is way above the normal level of engagement. So I do think that that's a really important distinction to make. So this is the portion of the interview where I like to kind of ask sort of yes or no, kind of this or that kind of questions. So which do you prefer, Elvis or the Beatles?
I will have to say the Beatles, simply because I know more Beatles songs off the top of my head than Elvis.
Well, if I might make a recommendation, because I like them both, but you should definitely give Elvis a try because he was a very interesting guy. A lot of people, they just think of, like, a few songs that he did, but he was a really fascinating character. You're on a boat with friends. What are you listening to?
Ooh, I can't say my own playlist because, like, my own music taste is, like, nowhere near anyone else's. I feel like I would be going with something lo-fi, something just chill, relaxing.
Okay, well, what would be on your personal playlist then?
My personal playlist is more like hyper pop, a little bit of rock.
Mm. Like modern rock or classic rock or?
A little bit of all.
Oh, okay.
I experienced classic rock from my parents, and then I found out more modern rock on my own.
Yeah. Can you give any band names?
Metallica is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I was a decent fan of Iron Maiden, and then in more modern, I have Ghost and Palisades.
So, Robert Downey Jr. or Christian Bale?
Robert Downey Jr. Another one where I know more of Robert Downey Jr. than I know of Christian Bale.
Well, Christian Bale, I think, is perhaps most famously played two things: Batman and American Psycho. But Batman was really the relevant choice here because I was kind of like Iron Man or Batman, kind of, sort of. Portal or Call of Duty?
Portal. I have never personally been a fan of COD, and I remember my cousins, when I was, I think, like 8, they would come over, and they had Portal for the Xbox 360,
Mm-hmm.
and they would come over, bring the game with them so that we could play together.
Have you ever played the original Call of Duty?
No, I have not.
It's very, very different from modern Call of Duty. It's a total tonal shift. A while back, what I did is I wanted to play the original games to kind of see what they're about. And the original Call of Duty, the way that it's sold, more or less, is it's supposed to be a war simulator. You're supposed to feel what it's like to be in the middle of battle. And obviously, there's graphical updates. It's not going to look like it super much, but it was a very different feeling in terms of immersion. Nowadays, Call of Duty, the games that I've played, at least, I kind of dropped off after Black Ops. It's more like you're a superhero.
Yeah. Superhero with guns.
Yes. So, chess or poker?
Poker. I am known throughout my friend groups as God's greatest gambler. I think I would be good at poker.
You're the first person to say poker so far, just so you know.
Really?
Yes. Your friends just dropped in to play video games. What are you playing?
I have a couple different answers depending on the group.
Mm-hmm.
So there's either Omega Strikers. I don't think you might have heard of it.
No, I haven't.
Okay, I will say this in the simplest term possible. It's like League of Legends, but a soccer game.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Dragon Ball Fighters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it, yeah. Those are like the two ones where it's just like, those are the two games that just pop into my mind.
Who's the most beautiful actress of all time?
It's a fun fact. I don't actually know many actors in general.
Yeah, 'cause I've asked that question once before, and I got a very similar kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I can't think of any that I really like.
I may have to drop that question from the roster. Home cooked meal or restaurant?
Home cooked, easily.
Hmm.
I will always prefer something that you cooked yourself over something that you went out and bought, simply because it's got that homey feel to it, and it's got something that nowhere else can have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously you can follow a recipe from a restaurant,
Yeah.
but it's always going to have your own little kick to it, and I think that makes a huge difference.
Yes. On the other hand, you're hungry, and the only place to eat is a gas station. What do you get?
So the funny answer would be to say gas station sushi. However, I wouldn't recommend that to anyone unless they are really feeling daring.
Yeah.
At a gas station, most likely, I would be getting some cheese sticks and some beef jerky.
Nice. Do they still sell those 2-packs? The ones where it's both the cheese stick and the beef jerky? I haven't
Yes,
seen those
they
in
do.
ages.
I don't like the cheese sticks in those. They always taste like plastic.
I've always preferred the cheese heads, the string cheese, those things.
Yeah. So one of my favorite of the cheese and meat category is in a lot of 7-Elevens, you'll go over to their little fridge section,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll have mozzarella cheese sticks wrapped in different meats. They have prosciutto, pepperoni, salami. I love those.
Wow. I've never heard of those. It sounds good.
Yes.
Okay. Now we're on to more of what I call the non sequitur questions. They are very, very random, and they're supposed to be. But I want to kind of get a broader perspective. So you're at the mall. What do you make a beeline for?
The card game shop. Less because I'm actually going to buy anything there, but more because I just want to check out the options and see if there's any tournament going on. Because I do love card games, but it's hard to get into a community without catching them there.
Yeah.
And so usually, I'll just scope out the card game shop, see what they got, see what community they got, and then if I like the vibes, I'll stay around. If not, I just move on.
So what card games do you play?
So I play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Mostly digital, because the physical one is in a rough spot right now. And then I used to play the Dragon Ball Super card game before Fusion World happened. I played it for a while, and then they rebooted it, and I just couldn't get back into it.
Yeah. What's I'm curious, what's the rough spot with Yu-Gi-Oh?
So the current format is just, if you're not rich, you can't get into it easily, and there are only 2 viable decks.
Huh. That's odd.
Yeah. That's just Yu-Gi-Oh! We've got our own personal hell to deal with.
Have you ever had a sports injury?
I don't think the injuries were ever because of the sport, but I have been injured while playing a sport.
Can you elaborate on that?
So I think during flag football, while I was playing, I had gotten an ear infection.
Ah. Okay.
And it's fuzzy, but I remember another one where my flag football team was going up against an actual, just regular football team. Still same age range, but,
yeah.
a clear difference. And I was one of the forward line, and so I would try, and the kid that was against me just, threw me. I went flying, I hit the ground, and I don't remember what happened afterwards. I could have gotten injured.
I mean, that sounds a little unfair, though, doesn't it?
Oh, it was very unfair. But they were on their off-season, so...
So basically they were like, hey, we need an easy win. Let's go against the team that doesn't do this at all.
Yeah!
And kick their ass! Woo! Because of course we will.
Let's throw other kids 5 feet onto the ground. Woo!
Okay. You find $20 in the street. What do you buy with it?
I think I would get boba, most likely.
Boba? I've never had boba. Are
It
those?
is very good depending on how you get it. I am an avid hater of the smoothie boba, where take they basically put boba balls into a smoothie. When in reality, it's supposed to be like a tea, a drink,
Yeah.
like just liquid. But a good liquid boba,
So how do you drink a boba tea exactly? Because you normally I think of those drinks that, like, you have a straw in it, but I would think that the whatever you call them, don't they, like, isn't that hard to drink?
so funnily enough, the answer to that question is the simplest one: bigger straw.
Bigger straw, huh?
You just have a straw big enough to suck up the boba balls, and then you suck both up, and then just chew on the balls.
So are the balls, like, are they like tapioca or something, or do?
They can be like flavored.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot for my own like life describe exactly what they taste like, but I have a lot of them say brown sugar,
Mm.
so I'm gonna go with that.
Hmm. I should probably try that at some point. I'm very curious. I think that it will, for me personally, it will probably be one of those things like, hey, I'm glad I tried this, but I don't really need to anymore. And then I'll probably leave it there. But just looking at it, I'm compelled. I want to try it.
Yeah, no, I heavily recommend boba. Like, it's not something I'm having every day,
Yeah.
but if I have an option for like, hey, I can give myself a little treat and I'm not hungry,
Mm.
I'm going out to get a boba tea.
If you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Japan.
Uh, that's a very common answer on this show so far.
I wonder why.
Gee, where do you think the weebs want to go?
Let me ponder on this for a minute.
Although for me, it wasn't because I was a weeb as much as I was a fan of the movie Lost in Translation.
Well, honestly, it's less for me being a wee bit more because I'm a real big fan of Pokemon.
So what do you play Pokemon?
I do play Pokemon. I don't really play it competitively or anything like that, but I have played Pokemon since I was like 5.
Hmm. I'm curious. I'm curious because you're a bit younger than me. Did your school have a ban on Pokemon cards?
Mine did not.
Because Pokemon was much newer when I was in grade school, and there was a huge backlash against it in public schools because, there was like a couple kids who didn't know how the things worked, and they did a few bad trades, and
Yeah.
the parents freaked out, and then schools just started banning them all over the place. It was very odd.
No, I wasn't really in the trading card scene too much when I was in elementary school, but I never really saw them around at all.
Yeah. Hmm. Uh, do you drive?
I do not.
Ah. That then my following questions of which of your cars was your favorite would probably be irrelevant.
No, don't worry. It would still be irrelevant. I'm not big on cars.
Yeah. Do you have any superstitions?
Not that come to mind.
Hmm. What's the latest you ever stayed at a party?
Oh god, I'm gonna have to go back to like kid years because like I have not been to any parties recently.
Hmm.
I think the latest was like 11 p.m. It was like no, I don't think I went to any New Year's parties. It was some sort of holiday party.
Hmm.
It was probably a July the 4th party. That makes a lot of sense.
Did you ever go to a New Year's party?
No, New Year's was always at my own home.
Gotcha. Because that would be like the instant, oh, well, I was past midnight there.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever passed midnight at a party.
I actually have. I was I was in the drama club thing in high school, and after a play, they would have the after party thing, and
Oh
that was
yeah.
that was an overnight. So
Mm-hmm.
that was the late, and then I would wake up at 5 a.m. because I can't sleep in another person's house. I'd be like half dazed. I'd call my mom, take me home.
Yeah, no, the first night sleeping at a new place is always like the most off-putting thing for me. I'll wake up and I'll be like, "Where am I?" Oh wait, yeah, okay.
Yeah. You already partially answered this question, but do you collect anything?
I do collect a fair bit of things. So obviously the trading cards. I still have a ton of my old Dragon Ball cards.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I do collect video game merchandise a ton, along with anime merchandise. Like, I don't think I've, even if it's like not the highest quality, I'll still pick it up just because like it's my favorite character or it's from a series I really like.
Yeah.
And I just have like a bunch of memorabilia scattered everywhere within my room.
Yeah. And
For weird collections, I would say coins. I do collect a bit of coins as well.
Mm-hmm. So do you have like the coin books, that kind of thing?
No, I don't have coin books. I just have like a collection of coins.
So
like, I have half dollars, full dollars. I have actually a piece of 10 yen that a friend gave to me after they went to Japan.
Cool. Do you have the JFK half dollars?
I do.
Nice. I have a few of those.
I also have at least 100 Samoan bat quarters because I went through an era in like during COVID year. I was like, these quarters are gonna get really popular. I don't know what convinced me of that idea, but I was like, these are gonna get real popular. I should stock up and sell them when they get real expensive. So now I just have like a collection of them.
Well, let's chalk it up to the craziness that was that time.
Yeah. Listen, I saw a business opportunity and I didn't think about anything else. Like, every time I saw someone bat quarters at work, I was trading in my dollar bills so I could get more in my collection.
You were going for like the well, you had the crypto bros over there going for like the Bitcoin during that year. You were over there like physical currency. That is where it's at.
Yeah. They're all fools. We don't need to change the currency. It's just the type of the physical currency. Don't you see? It was in front of us all along.
What smell reminds you of home?
Ooh. I would say chlorine. The smell of like a pool. Just like, I went swimming so much as a kid, and we had our outdoor pool, and I would, every summer, it was never the summer break that I looked forward to, it was always swimming.
See, that's funny because I would associate the smell of chlorine with the hotel because that's the only time I was ever exposed to a pool.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Well, that's all I have for the evening. It's still pretty early.
Yeah.
It's midday, but you can watch Naningen on Twitch. And was there anything else that you had that you wanted to shill out?
Not really. I really only have my Twitch. Like, I'm on Twitter, but that's more like my just unfiltered thought post account.
Yeah. Well, be sure to check him out there. I'm going to have a link in the description, although at this point I'm still, for whatever reason, not allowed to use external links on YouTube, so it will be without a period in it somewhere. Yeah, I know, it's very, very irritating, but I will put at least the partial link without the period there. Thank you very much for joining me. This has been a very nice conversation.
Thank you for having me. First interview,
Yep.
and I don't think I completely ruined it, so that's a plus.
There you go. That ruining these interviews is my job.
Yeah, listen, leave it to the content creator to ruin their own content.
Exactly. Well, anyway, I was your host, Jack Jinseki, and joining me was Naningen. Thank you very much. Goodbye now.
Bye.